Nurse case managers are a group of registered nurses who specialize in managing the care for a worker injured on the job. Here at MEM, we work in several different capacities as telephonic nurse case managers, where all of the work is done through phone calls. And we also have nurses who go out and attend visits with injured workers at physicians' offices or meeting them at hospitals to work with them in various capacities. We also collaborate with physicians, diagnostic facilities, physical therapists, and all other parties that we work with to assure that the injured workers are receiving appropriate care. Our complete and total goal for the claim is to assure that the injured workers are receiving appropriate medical care. So that begins with having conversations with physicians and the other parties, as I mentioned earlier, but then to work with policyholders to assure that injured workers return to work in a safe capacity. So the benefit to the policyholder is assuring that the right medical care is provided and returning them to health and back to their work duties as quickly as possible. There is no additional cost to the medical file for the services that the nurse case management team is providing. At some carriers or other insurance companies, there is an additional expense that goes toward the claim for a nurse to manage the file. So just another excellent resource here for all of the policyholders at MEM, which is an additional selling point for the producers. We get so many comments from injured workers about how beneficial having a nurse to work with is to them, that they're so grateful for the caring concern and the communication that they provide to help coordinate and facilitate all of the care that they need to receive orders from a physician, but then the nurse really works to assist them with coordinating all of that. And I think we can all think on times when we've assisted ourselves or loved ones go through the process of some type of medical event, and there's a lot of coordination to work with all of the various individuals to help that person through the recovery process. So the nurse case management team just does such a fantastic job of bringing all of those parties together, assuring that there's communication by all of those parties, that they're aware of the concerns of the injured worker, and helping to assure that they're receiving the most appropriate medical treatment possible. As part of that collaborative process, the nursing team speaks with the claims adjusters and tries to determine, does an injured worker require a nurse on a file? So as you might understand, injuries that are a little bit less severe or that are less severe don't require a nurse on a file, but often there can be additional issues that would lead us to think that an injured worker might require a nurse. Those can be various comorbidities, personal health information that might lead to complications following a surgery. So again, it's a collaborative process with the adjusters to try to understand, could a nurse truly impact the recovery process for this injured worker? For some of our most significant or catastrophic cases, we refer to them, where injured workers suffer more than one type of injury, we generally utilize on-site nurse case managers. Those case managers are meeting face-to-face with those injured workers, talking to them at the hospital at the time of the injury or at subsequent doctor's office visits to help them to work through the process. It can be so much more challenging to an injured worker when there are multiple physicians involved, multiple studies, diagnostic examinations, or different therapies that are required. So there's a lot of collaboration that goes into the recovery process, that the nurse case manager works with them and really meets them and helps to understand what those challenges and barriers are, or what could be barriers to their recovery. We try to think forward and eliminate those barriers before they occur in order to reduce the amount of time that it takes to get that injured worker back to recovery. So the claims adjusters really evaluate when an injury occurs, whether it would be best to have a telephonic nurse case manager manage the file, or if an on-site nurse case manager is most appropriate. They can collaborate with the nursing team to help determine what is best for that particular claim. So we really attempt to collaborate with the claims representatives to assure that we're doing what is appropriate for those injured workers throughout the process of their recovery.